Hello, hello, Jamie here. This week is going to be a little different. I am going to take you to an art show. I'm going to give you a sneak peek into part of my fabric design process, and I'm going to update you on the project that I am working on. And yes, I am still hand piecing hexagons. Before we get started, a big shout out to Estelle Center for Creative Arts for once again sponsoring this video, with a spotlight this week on Carolina Intu. She will be teaching in October 2026 at the center. I will have a link for you here so that you can check out her class and everything she has to offer. At Coffee with Quilters this week, we were talking about deadlines and how people react to deadlines. Some people thrive under having a deadline. I tend to get stressed if I wait to the last minute, and that stress causes me to have a decrease in creativity. And so I like to work way ahead. And that's what I'm doing here. I have no idea exactly if I'm going to use these fabrics or not, but I am hand piecing and enjoying my time with this fabric. These fabrics were chosen for the March challenge, and I will have a link here for you if you're interested in joining us. I also wanted to mention that if you remember last week, I said I had gotten rid of all my streaming services, and here I am listening to a book on tape, The Salt Path, and that was quite a nice listen to while hand stitching in the evening. And if you look in the background there on my armoire, I have the fabric pinned up for a potential upcoming challenge. And I've been sitting with it for about a week there, and I'm not getting anything. So I think I need to revisit this and make some changes. Right now, I'm considering adding 3 portraits in this challenge. I'm calling them Three Sisters right now, but I don't know what it will actually be called. And I'm also going to add some additional coordinating patterns. That is why I thought it might be fun if you wanted to see some of the ways I work to create patterns. But before we do that, I am going to take you to this art show I attended this week. My daughter-in-law invited me to come to this art show that was put on by kids ages 2. Well, my granddaughters are 2.5. They were in it. And then I think 4th grade was the oldest. I was blown away by what I saw. Amazing, amazing, amazing displays of artwork from these kids. And I don't know who the teachers were. I was trying to track them down to say, great work, teachers. But these were absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to let you enjoy these for a minute here, and then we will get to the fabric design. And of course, I was quite taken with this display because of the half face thing. If you know my work, you know I'm into the half face thing, but what a great idea to have a photograph of, and then they get to draw the other half. Amazing. So one of the other things we're doing in the community, beside the challenge, is we're doing, or some of us are doing, the 100-day project and posting that there. And so this year I'm going to keep it really simple, and I'm calling it doodles, simple doodles that can be created for some fabric coordinates. And so this is, I think this is day 5 maybe. And I've never used this big wide marker before, but I have it in my toolbox there, and I thought, oh, let's see what I can do with this. So here's what I came up with first, and I'm just writing the day and the date and whatnot on here. And then I take a photograph of it and upload it to the community site. But after I took the photograph and looked at it, I'm like, well, that's pretty boring. So I decided I'm going to do something else. Now, this is a white India ink, and I've never used it before. And I wasn't quite sure what would happen. I'm going to zoom in here so that we can maybe get a better look. Many people think you have to know how to draw in order to create fabric coordinates, but actually this is just mark making. Anybody can make marks. Kids can make marks. Old people like me can make marks. Everybody can make marks. I bet our dogs could make marks. So it shouldn't hold anybody back from giving this a go. I put some incentive out there for the community members that if they did all 100 of the days, and it doesn't have to be this, it can be anything, but if they did choose to do something that could be interpreted into fabric, that I would at the end let them choose one out of their 100, and I would put it into repeat and upload it to Spoonflower so that they would have their very own fabric. And so we have a few people that are jumping on that bandwagon, which makes me really, really excited. So I can't wait to see what they come up with. So now I just have to let it dry. And you can see it's not a solid white. It's kind of soaks in, and it's kind of grayish and whitish. It's always a fun surprise for me to see what is going to happen. So I think that's a little more interesting than the first thought. So now I'm in Photoshop here, and this is one of the ways that I create repeat prints for quilt fabric. So I'm not going to go through every step. I have this sped up a bit, but it will give you an idea of what goes into it and how you can take simple mark making and create a print. Here I'm just touching up some of the rougher lines. Here I'm playing with the levels of black and white. And now I'm just going to touch up some of these spots that have some white. And you can spend hours and hours doing this. Depends on, the artwork. I'm just trying out some things here. Sometimes they don't work, so I didn't think these worked well, so I'm going to take those away. And this is the adjustment panel. I'm turning it to black and white, and again playing with the levels. Now I'm in exposure. So now I've put a solid black background in just to see. As you can see, there's some white edges there on the edge of the squares, and those I feel like I need to clean those up a bit. But I'm also playing with some of the you know, exposure and that kind of thing. Again, you kind of go back and forth with all of the tools in the Photoshop toolbox. At least that's how I do it. Every piece of art, for me, every piece of art is different. And so every piece of art requires different, uh, different things done to it. Now I'm going in here and changing the size. So I need 150 dots per inch for Spoonflower. And now I'm going to make the size smaller so that it's the actual size that the fabric is going to be. So now I'm working on the repeat, getting it to repeat so that you can't tell where the line is. And this takes a little bit of, sometimes a lot of it, a little bit of maneuvering. This was a fairly easy one to do. I do recommend for beginners to design within that diamond shape or a square turned on point, because that just makes for an easy transition into a repeat. Kind of fiddly. So now I need to save it. And now I'm exporting the JPEG. You need a JPEG to upload to Spoonflower. And now I'm going to play with some different colorways. And this is a really basic way to do it. So we're using the hue saturation slider. So for this project, I've kind of decided on 5 colors per motif, or it's not a motif, per pattern repeat, I guess. That was me counting. And this was inverting it just to see. Not exactly my cup of tea there, so I'm not going to save it. And trust me, there are hundreds and thousands of things you can do in Photoshop. This is just one of many, 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 and it's a fairly basic, simpler version of how you can do this. Here I'm just saving them into the pattern envelope or folder or unit or whatever they call it here, so that I can use them. I can upload them as patterns later. So I should have done it as I was doing it, but I forgot. So I'm going back and doing that now. And I think I've got them all. So now I have this template made, and this is what I'm using to upload to Instagram and my other social media platforms. And then I'm uploading the prints to Spoonflower, and then I share the link when I share that image. Um, so if people are interested in that particular print, they can actually buy it. Now I'm just going back to a photograph of that original, and I'm plopping it in. Again, this is that template, plopping it in to replace the previous day's work. There you can see it. This is my template. And now I can just go in and click on these and they will pop in there for me. And I need to do a few changes on this one to make it work. So I used transparency in the last one so you could see through it. Okay. So now I'm just going to change some scale because they're all blending together here. So I made the background one smaller. I'm actually going to make them all smaller so that you get a better idea of what it looks like. 50%. I was trying to add a drop shadow there, but it didn't work. So now I have to flatten these. So I'm just lightening the background a little bit and making it smaller, the repeat smaller. And now I'm saving this. And that's how it's done. Thank you for being here. Shout out to the Estelle Center for Creative Arts for sponsoring this video. And I will drop some links for you in the description so you can find all of these things that I've been talking about, including Estelle Center for the Creative Arts. Thank you for being here, everyone. See you next week.